Hi, Deanne LeBreton here, atop of a roof in downtown Toronto to address the question in the last post, what does the change you're leading require you to be? I'm going to ask you to do something that might seem a little hokey. I hope you'll bear with me and that it'll make sense by the time we get to the end of the post. And that is this. As change leaders, we each have a different vision of what our work will look like once the change is fully realized. For some of us, it might mean more money in our pocket on the sale of our business, or it might look like a more sustainable future for our organizations, or a healthier food supply, or a safer world, or whatever. For the purposes of this post, I'm going to ask you to imagine it as your organization sitting atop of the CN Tower. Our role, obviously, is to mobilize our organizations to agree to go on the journey, to make their way to the base of the tower, to find the ways and means and wherewithal to scale the building, to sustain that commitment once they've started, and once on top, to enjoy the view and to celebrate their success. Now, how we do that depends in part on the actions we take and the messages we impart, but that's not the focus of this post. What I'm wanting to get at is, what do we need to be in order to realize those effects on those around us? And for my money, the most important thing that underlies all of the characteristics of leadership is intent. Leaders operating from a place of intent typically exhibit what I think are 4 sub-characteristics. One of them is they are decided. Look them in the eye and they are unflinching. Sit with them and they don't fidget. Talk to them and they are unwavering. They've made a decision to move on. They're not going to look back. They're only going to move forward. The other thing that I've noticed is that they are hell-bent. They have energy beyond any 3-year-old having a tantrum. I'm thinking about it from a positive perspective in terms of energy. They come in early, stay late. They've got energy to talk to anyone about what is needed and what is important. They have the courage to explore new ideas that might be more effective in realizing the desired change. They are placing the desired result ahead of anything else, and that typically comes up as a 3rd characteristic, which is they are absorbed. Leaders with intent apply the change program to their own decision making, how they're going to spend their time, who they're going to spend it with. They seek out opportunities to talk about it, and when they don't find one, they create one, unabashedly, and typically among those whose work and efforts are needed to move forward. They apply performance metrics. They measure the implementation of change against some benchmarks or other metrics to ensure that things are on course and that in fact the intended consequences are being realized. And if they don't see that rigor, they are candid in talking about it with the people, again, whose efforts are needed to keep the program moving forward. And finally, they reward and celebrate success. The final thing about leaders operating from a place of intent is that they are alert. Again, they're out there listening, looking for anything that might set back the progress, derail it, get in the way, slow it down, and they're quick to call together those people who can help avert those situations or mitigate their effects. So again, for my money, leaders who are intentional are ones who are decided, hell-bent, absorbed, and alert. So how does that connect back to the CN Tower? Well, a lot of the changes that we're involved in started out perhaps as silly notions, and as leaders it was up to us to make them seem a little less outrageous, a little less difficult, a whole lot more desirable and beneficial. I want to introduce you in the coming weeks to some people who I think have really taken on the mantle of change leader in the ways that I'm describing, and see what you think about them, in part to engage in this conversation on intent. Now, in the meantime, if anything I've said here speaks to you, then please speak to me and to us via the comment box. Would love to hear from you. In the meantime, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.